We have the former selectman here. We wanted to say hello. How about you, sir? Thank you for coming. And the lovely lady here, and we have another couple here. Did you have a chance to sign your name so we can save it for future reference?
Well, when that thing comes up, they've got
Okay.
a,
All right, minutes?
Why don't we do the MRC
Okay.
first and...
Why don't we do the MRC, okay?
So, Mr. Chairman, if I may,
You can come forward.
come forward. Yes, sir.
We want you to be close to us.
You have to be able to hear what we have to say.
We both, so you can share the microphone.
So I would like to start, I would like to do two things very briefly tonight.
Before you do this, state your name first.
I'm Alex McCurdy,
That's it. Thank you.
representing the Littleton Volunteer Corps, which to you is the MRC.
Thank you.
Okay. I got it right now?
Yes, sir.
I forget.
No, you do fine.
So I'd like to do two things. First is introduce the assistant director, and then just spend a couple of minutes sort of refreshing where we are,
No problem.
so that you can continue to have the highest level of confidence in what we're doing.
Okay.
So with me tonight is Pat Natoli. She, as you know, is the person that you appointed as the assistant director. She and I are the two heads of the organization as it is reshaped
Okay?
from the traditional. I know that Anne Laurie spent a lot of time updating you on things, and obviously she's not here now, so I think it's incumbent on us to come once in a while and let you know what's going on with us so that you can continue to have confidence in what we're doing. But I would first ask if you want to talk with Pat at all. I'll give you a little of her history. She and I go back all the way to the days when I was fire chief in Harvard,
Okay.
which is
Many, many years ago.
more years than many people have been born.
Right.
So,
We don't want to say that.
and she was the dispatcher there for me, and I worked many a very critical incident with her. So I have the highest level of confidence in the ability to work with her. So when this opportunity came to pass, I couldn't be more pleased. I don't know if you want to ask her any questions.
Yeah.
about who she is.
Would you be
I wonder
kind
what your
enough?
background is, Pat.
I've been very fortunate to work for the town of Harvard for 31 years. 28 of it was as the 911 dispatcher, and now I'm the administrative assistant to the police chief, the fire chief, and highway superintendent, and also their CERT manager for the town of Harvard. Before that, I was the MRC chairman in Maynard
Okay.
from 2004 to 2008. That's when I moved to Littleton. And I had promised my husband I'd stay quiet for a couple of years, but that didn't happen because I ran into my good friend Alex, and he kind of like threw that thing out, and
He's very
here
good
I
at
am.
that.
Yes.
That's what happens.
So I bring to you, I'm the CERT manager for the town. I also sit on the governor's task force for CERT,
Okay.
for the emergency, Citizens Emergency Response Team. And I also sit on a FEMA team,
Okay.
training to go to, when I retire, I'll be deployed to different areas as a disaster manager.
I see.
So I bring to you a lot of,
You're going to be a very busy lady. You're never going to have a time to vacation with your husband.
well, see, that's why I've been with my husband 37 years. We take
Oh.
separate vacations.
That's terrific.
That's why you're still together. gonna
Gino,
try that
I'm wondering
tomorrow.
if you couldn't have, do you know much about the MRC? I was wondering if...
No, I don't.
Would you be
Alex,
kind enough to
good.
tell her?
Just kind of, how many times
She's
you
new.
meet, basically what you do and stuff like that, just to...
So what has happened is the MRC, which is the Medical Reserve Corps, falls under the jurisdiction of the Board of Health. And at the same time, there's a program called CERT, which is a Community Emergency Response Team that falls under the jurisdiction of the Emergency Management Director. In this case, it's the fire chief. And MRC has been around for a long time. I've been a member of it for a long time. And we do several things, but the biggest thing that we've done is prepare for sheltering people. And behind that would be assisting with flu shot clinics and stuff like that. So what happened about a year ago was that we merged the two organizations together into what is now called the Littleton Volunteer Corps. So we perform both the Medical Reserve Corps and the CERT functions as one organization. So in the process of that, the MRC chair became the director, and we have currently 5 directors that are assigned various areas within the scope of this. So to put it very quickly, what we are is a surge resource. That when community services, normal community services fall behind and become overwhelmed, we then become a resource for that, which is why we run the shelter and why we can help with flu clinics. And in the future, you'll see a little bit of an expansion in what we do. We rely 100% on volunteers. And in all honesty, one of the biggest jobs is recruitment, and that's what we're doing now under the new organization, is we're trying to recruit more people. We are about to conduct our shelter drill in a week from tomorrow.
How many times a year do you do the drills now?
Well, we fell into some times where we weren't doing much, and we are getting back up to speed. And so we've got some training components that we've had to do. But this is going to be the first time we've run a shelter drill in a while.
Yeah.
And it's usually something that we talk about, work on, and drill to one extent or another once a year, or it should be. So this is good that we're actually doing it. We've had a couple of meetings on it, and come next Wednesday, and you all will be notified when we do the activation. And we're going to do the initial setup. The history of sheltering in Littleton hasn't been, all that robust, so to speak, because people would tend to stay at home, shelter in place. And there have been a few occasions where we've sheltered people. It hasn't been an influx of the Littleton population into the shelter. It's been some people. So there's been
Well, you had one time there was, you had a lot of people from the campground and everything, if I remember right.
Yes, that was the hurricane. We brought them in. They didn't stay long. And that was, part of that prompted us to, because you live and learn, and that prompted us to change a few things around and upgrade the plans a little bit, which we have done. But that is a type of population we need to worry about. The trailer park is a type of population we need to worry about. The elderly, particularly in cold weather, we have to worry about that. We have to be prepared to deal with them. But a shelter's not a really comfortable thing. It's a place where they can get warm, get dry, charge up their cell phone, maybe find out what's going on, make connections to their family, make sure
It's a
everybody's
temporary
okay.
thing. It's a temporary
So,
thing.
I hope we don't ever have a shelter that goes on for a week or 2 weeks because some catastrophe has happened and the town is in total destruction. So that's, the 2-minute version of what.
Do you have any funding?
No.
We get some funding from grants, mostly through the Board of Health. And we get some funding from, and that's usually federal money. We get some
FEMA.
funding through emergency
Wasn't it
management
FEMA?
funding.
Yeah.
And who-
This board's been good at, supporting us in the past in going for grant funding.
Who,
And
who,
frankly, we wouldn't operate without it.
who writes the grant? Do we do it?
We usually write the grant
You write
and
it?
submit it.
To the office.
Okay. And then do you identify
John,
the
you have any
opportunities
question?
typically, or?
No.
We track the opportunities, and of course, when the time came, we'd have to work with you. We're coming off of, Anne Marie was on this board, and she would pretty much handle all this stuff. So we have to rework our
Get
way we're
reacquainted, yeah.
communicating with
And there's
each
a
other.
lot of changes coming through. Littleton belonged to what they call in the Board of Health Region 4A. And I just got an email this morning that they have merged with 4B, so now you're bringing in 2 districts under the Board of Health. And they're the ones that we would get our, they would say what is available for grant money. So that's why it's important for us to have a member of our team, part of your team, so we can participate in those conversations. And you have to go through the Board of Health to participate. And did you forward that to me? Or
Yes.
Yeah. So I had talked to Shelley earlier last week, and she's been very good about, getting me on board. And then today, I was very surprised to see the email come through. So that's where we would get our funding. Chief Scott and I wrote a grant through state MEMA, and we received $1,200. And that doesn't seem like a lot, but what that bought us was enough to do warming stations. We bought extra power supplies and things so we could do charging stations for people with their telephones. And it also gave us some extra money to do some outside training, to bring in professional trainers outside of what we can get from the police department and the fire department, like disaster managers. And those trainers cost money because you're bringing them in from another town
Right,
or
right.
whatever. So that's what that grant is. But there is funding out there through Homeland Security, through the DPH, and through MEMA and FEMA as
FEMA.
well. You just have to know the-
Unfortunately, we don't have any money to give you, but
There's virtually no town budget for
Right,
this
right.
purpose.
maybe someday. Right now, we don't.
Well, Littleton, I was very surprised when we did the inventory of the trailer, how well it was supplied. There was, if we had to set up a shelter right now, Littleton does have adequate enough supplies to do that. We're just hoping that after our drill, that we have enough people that are trained. But Littleton, I was very impressed that there was enough supplies there that we could adequately open a shelter and feel confident with that, the supplies.
Where do you have all the cots now? Remember, that was a little bit of a problem.
Well, it's still a bit of a problem when the fire station, if and when the fire station renovation begins. But we're gonna need to store those, but there's also a bunch of them on the trailer. We have an amazing amount of stuff on the trailer. We actually need a bigger trailer, but that's a conversation we can have at another time. And right now, there is a large cache of cots that are stored in the fire station, and they're gonna have to be put in a storage facility for that period of time, in a place where we can get to them if we have to.
That's great.
Didn't we last year, was it to the MRC or even the volunteer committee, didn't we approve for the purchase of jackets?
Yes.
Right?
we did.
So we do stuff like that as well, those smaller
That
things.
was grant
yeah.
funding that
Yeah.
you needed to approve.
Right.
And that's been done, and everybody has their jackets, and it's a huge hit, because they haven't had any other than an ID.
Mm-hmm.
And now they can put on a jacket, they have a hat, they can look at official at what we do.
Yeah.
And I am feeling pretty positive about where the organization is going to go, understanding that the hardest thing for us is recruitment. And but I think we're going to grow the organization, and with the current structure we have for the organization now, communication is going to be taking big steps forward, and how we work with the boards and the emergency services should immediately begin to improve. I mean, this is the start of it here. You have us here to talk to you about it.
Is the primary threat that you have to respond to storms?
Historically, yes. We also had to prepare for,
Heat?
dispensation sites for medicine in case of a attack or something like that. But in that role, we're almost secondary to the Neshoba Associated Boards of Health and their core. We're an adjunct resource for them, or a surge resource. So that threat has sort of, or the worrying about it has sort of gone away. And we're back to we have to be able to shelter people and be prepared for, whatever.
Is heat an issue? Do you open shelters during heat waves?
Yes.
You do, okay.
We actually have 3 levels of sheltering that we do. And the very first level can be simple as a warming and cooling station with 1 or 2 volunteers staffing it. And then we step up to the next level, which lands us in the middle school, where we have to keep people for an extended period of time, and it's more than a dozen people or something like that. And that ramps up to yet another level where we have to feed people and expect to keep them for days. The middle school is our primary shelter, and we had to, thanks to the Board of Selectmen at the time and others, we had to get some things changed around there because it was not suitable. There wasn't power to the kitchen, there wasn't power to a lot of key places we needed it to run a shelter, and unfortunately we found that out while we were trying to run a shelter. So everybody's been cooperating very well to move us at an ever better level that we hope we never have to use.
Well, we have a 7:15 hearing going.
You understand?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, we wanted to thank you.
Thank you.
Pat, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck.
Thanks for volunteering your time.
Yeah, thanks for all
Thank
your
you for
help.
letting us get in and get out quickly.
Thank you.
You have a good day.
get nervous
Thank
when
you
I'm back
for your
there.
service.
It's a pleasure.
Take
Thank you.
care, Alex. Thanks for the rundown, it was good.
And you won't be getting notifications by the system next week.
I've got you down.
You wonder what it is, that's
Thank
Okay.
you very much. You've been helpful.
7:15, we have a 6 Trot Road. Oh, no, here he comes.
Oh, here he comes.
Set the system variance. Okay, I understand that you already had an extension, am I correct?
No, that's
Oh,
them.
those, okay, I'm
They're
sorry.
next.
All right,
This is a failed system.
okay.
You all have a copy of the letter? The variance letter?
I got one.
Okay. And you've seen the plan? I have some reduced copies here.
I have not seen the plan.
Okay, here's some reduced size.
All right.
I saw it, but I couldn't read it.
I have the colored one here for you to look at.
So it's going from a 4-bedroom to a 4-bedroom design?
It's still a 4-bedroom,
Okay.
correct. So do you want me to give you a little presentation on it? All right.
Good.
Fair enough. All right, so we're on Trout Road. You see her on my picture at the bottom of the page. Driveway coming in,
Yeah,
existing dwelling here in brown.
Okay.
Wetland area to the rear of the property.
okay, how far, what,
Well, here's the 100-foot buffer.
okay,
The yellow line is a 100-foot
Okay.
buffer. So we're,
you okay?
existing leaching area is here in pink.
Okay,
Did some soil testing around that area.
all right,
1, 2, 3 test holes and 3 percolation tests. So we're proposing a new sewage disposals, a new septic tank here. Generally the same location
for
as the
3 bedroom,
existing.
right?
For a 4-bedroom house.
Oh, 4-bedroom.
It's staying a 4-bedroom
I
house.
apologize, okay,
So new 1,500-gallon tank here.
okay,
That is a 2-compartment tank, which is required by the town today. Gravity flow to the distribution box to a Presby Enviroseptic leaching system.
okay,
We are requesting in our letter there that we utilize the 2-foot groundwater reduction, offset reduction, and that we, under the Littleton Board of Health regulations, we're asking for variance not to have the effluent T-filter in the outlet of the septic tank.
okay.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Presby systems, but it's very much reliant on oxygen flow.
It's funny that no one's ever requested that. So
And-
I'm not sure if they're putting them on in the Presbys or not.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody
Well, if it's a pump
not
system, yeah,
wanting to put a filter on the outlet.
right. I have a filter on mine at home, but I don't have a Presby system.
Well, I do too, but I don't have a Presby either.
But the Presby system, the whole idea is that they are vented at the end of the leaching facility, and it's a network of pipes and then that utilizes the high vent out of the roof of the house to have a draw of air through the system at all times. Anytime you put a filter in there, if the filter's working, it's going to clog up and slow that airflow down. So Presby highly recommends that we don't include that in their designs, knowing that the oxygen is really key to their
You have
success.
town water, am I correct?
We are at town water right along the driveway here,
Yeah.
so we're far and we're 24 feet away from that.
Did it perk?
Oh, yeah, we had good perk tests out there. We had,
John, you got any question?
I have a couple of
3 minutes
questions.
per inch. The other 3 were 2 minutes per inch, so about as best you can have.
Peter, you got a question?
Yeah, the question I have, it was an existing system, and it wasn't a pump-up, right? It was just a regular
It was
gravity
a gravity
feed.
fed system, correct.
And now you're putting in another system, why did you have to go down to the 2 feet?
Well, the older system was probably designed under older regulations where they looked at groundwater in a different manner.
Well, that's just a regular system, wasn't a Presby or anything like that?
No, it was just a leaching bed of some sort there, but if it was designed prior to 1995, you looked at estimated high water tables differently.
Okay.
So if it was pre-1995,
The reason I asked that, we've had several requests over the last few meetings about going, the offset from 4 to 2.
Mhm.
And our health agent, Jim Gareffi, has not recommended, he doesn't like to see it go beyond, under 3.
right.
So, when you have something that's an existing system, you would be thinking that, well, why can't it just stay at the 3? And not saying that that's good, bad, or indifferent, but it kind of serves its purpose, giving you that additional bit of
Right.
security, if you will.
Are all those systems using Presby? Because Presby's approval...
These were all Presby's.
Okay.
These were the last, I think, I don't know if you were here, John, or...
Last time I was.
Yeah, the last meeting, I think we had 3 of them.
May I read what our agent
Oh, I'd
says?
love to hear it, sure.
Okay. The applicant has conducted soil testing and has submitted the design for the purpose replacement sewage disposal system. Through the soil conditions are good, the water table is high enough to create a mountain in front of the house and potentially cause water problem for the house. The applicant is looking for 2-foot reduction in the groundwater table to allow the grading to remain it is currently exists. The site is served by town water. I don't have a problem with the request for those reasons stated above. So our agent has no problem.
I was surprised he changed his
Yeah.
tune.
Well, the other advantage of this particular one, it's case by
Yeah,
case.
yeah.
But it's a good case, it's a good thing that Peter just took it, yeah, because
absolutely.
we do have problems sometime,
Right.
but for some reason now you've lucked out, because that was done 1995, am I correct? What year was that?
The old system,
Yeah.
I don't know 100%, I can look it up.
Probably around there, that road went in about that time.
Yeah,
Okay.
so,
So it was under an old
like you
system.
say, the water level probably changed, you know what I mean? So
Well,
2
how we
feet.
evaluated it
Right,
changed.
right,
The
right,
state code changed
yeah.
how we evaluate.
In some
groundwater.
other cases, we might, like if Peter Yap says, we might object.
Right.
So that's what drives the going with the Presby instead of a different system, is because just to get within that 2-foot itself,
Okay.
which is allowed by Presby, right? Or
Right.
what the state allows,
The
right?
state issues
State
in
and
a,
Presby.
in a remedial situation,
Yeah.
which is in a repair, where you're
Yep.
not increasing design flow.
Yep.
We may ask for up to a 2-foot groundwater reduction, because DEP has agreed or has approved Presby to have that benefit based on their technology.
Well, it's 4 feet, and then you need a variance for the 2 feet.
Down
So
to
that
2,
they
correct.
recommend 4
Right.
feet, and
They
then,
recommend,
Right. So we're down to 4 feet. We're down to 2 feet. And again, the old system and today's system is probably purely based on how they looked at groundwater back then. We're seeing groundwater table or signs of it at 52 inches.
is that modeling, or the?
Correct.
Did you hit groundwater? Do you know where groundwater is?
Groundwater in one of the holes performed in January of '06, there was groundwater observed also at 52 inches,
Oh, really?
which is typical that time of year. You have your higher, the tide comes in more or less in the winter
What's the
and spring.
topography there? Oh,
Very flat,
oh, it is?
yeah.
Oh, boy.
Flat, and it's pretty gravelly soil there,
So
too.
you definitely have groundwater right at the surface, then?
No, groundwater
Not,
is
I'm
at-
sorry, not at the surface, at 52
52
inches.
inches.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
And again, going back to why we're asking going from 4 to 2, another advantage is we're able to keep with a gravity-fed system and avoid the whole idea of having the pump tank and, electronic component to the system.
So you're all set and you're happy now?
I'm happy. if
Okay,
we're
get
happy.
out of here before I change your mind.
Wait a minute, we have to vote on it.
I know, I'm only kidding.
Question,
Question?
because we were gonna talk with Jim,
Entertainer.
have a little discussion on that 2 feet to see, what his, what his reasoning was on it. Now, for that type of system, and you've got airflow through, and you talk about not having the filter in, this is from the best of your knowledge of this, if they don't maintain it, now those things have a maintenance schedule on them, is it once a year or every 2 years, I forget?
It says in Title V they should be maintained on an annual basis.
On an annual, and if somebody doesn't do that, and lets that go for, say, 2 or 3 years,
Right.
now, does that affect that business of, with the not having the filter on it? And
Well, Presby is saying that it starts to affect the bacteria environment that they're seeking out in the leaching facility because that airflow is being cut off. The Presby pipes are 12-inch pipes.
But it gets back to now, if you had that extra foot, would that help anything?
No.
I'm just getting, this is to educate
I don't believe
myself.
so, no.
Okay.
Entertain a motion?
Well, let me see, if I see a print here, I can...
Read that.
I get the big one.
Or there's also
Get the big one.
his letter states.
Yeah, I
his
got the
request.
letter, but I said, I'm going to make a motion that we accept the 2 variances. One for the local upgrade approval of reducing the 4 feet to a 2-foot reduction. And one for regulation 29 to not use the outlet T filter. And this is for number 6 Trot Road, as shown on the blueprint of, let me see if I can read it, 9/7/16. Does that pretty much cover you?
Covers me?
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you
Good
very
night,
much.
Joe.
Have a great evening.
You too. Okay, I guess.
Okay, so the
we,
next one, Gino, is this permit extension request
this
for
will be-
Nagog Hill Road. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Rondi.
Rondi
Yeah, you can
Saporetti.
just sign.
You know what Saporetti mean in Italian?
I've seen too much of Italians lately.
Sour.
It means you don't like me no more.
Saporetti, what is it
I
mean?
was in Italy.
Saporetti means taste, very good taste.
Ah,
Very, very close. Saporito.
Saporito. Okay. They gotta get an idea, you know what I'm saying? Because they always make fun of my last name, too. Especially that guy there. He's supposed to be my friend, but he traveled too much and now he's spoiled. All right, what do we have for you?
We extended the permit for the septic system, I think, once.
Septic system variance, right? That's what you
No,
need?
no, no. No, we just want to extend the date.
Oh, okay,
There's no changes,
okay,
but we tried to sell the lot
yes.
for some reasonable price, and we had a parallel path that we might build ourselves within the constraints of the
Okay.
of the design. And we're at the point where it looks like we may have to build ourselves, although there's some interest, but we need an extension. We
Okay.
started, in case we will build ourselves with a house design.
When was the extension made?
Oh, the last time?
Do you have any information?
I don't recall.
2000.
So,
When did you?
yeah, the permit was first issued in December 2013, and then they got a 1-year extension.
So you did get it 1 year
One,
extension?
yes.
Okay, I understand that we can't give you a year, but I guess according for the board, we probably might allow 6 months. We can't do it for a year.
Oh.
So we leave it up to the board.
Well, I'm not saying that I'm against it, I just would like to have a little bit more information. This is a vacant lot next to your present house.
Correct.
And originally, apparently, you had a system engineered and all set to go, and that was about when was that approximately? For the best of your knowledge, it is.
What does
No,
it say on
the original
here?
design.
Can I give a little history?
Yeah,
of
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, if you got the
Okay,
information.
This was changed in 2013.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's got this.
so they had originally got a permit in 2008 for a three-bedroom system, and then they got it extended through that Permit Extension Act.
Yeah.
And then they had a final extension, which was till October of 2013. So then, after that, they had a redesign done for a four-bedroom house, and that's the permit that was issued in 2013, which is now, they've got their one-year
When in
extension.
2013,
December.
December
Yeah.
12? So technically, it's 2016, it runs out,
3 years.
3 years.
This
So
year.
that's why they ask you for an
Right.
extension, so leave it up
You
to
can
them.
But they don't
extend-
think they're gonna be able to build and have the system in the ground by the time the permit
Yeah.
expires.
We have extended things like this for a year. I'm not sure what the ramifications are, the reasons we have to use, but I know we have done that where it hasn't affected anybody.
Well,
You know, it isn't like they got something ripped up, half done and stuff like that. Nothing's been done. You haven't touched
We cleared it
anything.
a little bit to look at the area. a little bit.
Yeah, just the normal.
done. What does that mean?
Well, doing a cellar hole or something like that, no, you did testing and stuff like that, that's what I talked about.
And
The only-
we went on with some design that might want to do it, we would do it ourselves.
The only variance they got was fill to lot lines, so even if there had been regulation changes, this has not changed. So
No.
it's not like there's been a,
I couldn't
change
find
in
it in
anything
Title
that's-
V, but I am sure that we've been allowed to extend for a year. And that was without the thing that Deval Patrick did
Right.
to extend the,
Right, because this
Because-
permit's outside of the Permit
Right,
Extension Act dates.
but I couldn't see it anywhere in Title V. I looked through the book.
see, according to here, Peter,
What does it-
permit expire on October 14, 2015.
So on this that I,
No
Put in
further
brackets.
extension allowed. So that's why I say a year is impossible, or 6 months is possible.
How could it be,
Because that's what it says
permits
here.
are 3 years.
Well, that's what I'm saying, that's what I'm reading to you. If you,
If it was issued on 12/2013.
so what I'm thinking is in 2013, that was still when the permits were only good for 2 years. Permits are now good for 3 years. So in 13, it would have expired in 15, and they got a one-year extension to 16. But they're not going to be able to get the system in the ground by the time the permit expires.
that's why we give another 6 months.
So under Title V, Section 15020,
What is it again?
that's in here. I put it in your packets.
Okay.
It, now states that permits are good for a 3-year period, and then subsection 3, describes the 1-year extension.
Only one extension.
So because Neshoba has already granted the 1-year extension on this 2013 permit, that's why Jim couldn't grant it. That's why it had to come before you.
Only one extension could be
Yeah.
granted. But if you got 6 months and you really mean it to do it. In the event that you might need an extension, maybe another month, in between those 6 months, as long as it doesn't fall for another year, it's gotta be, you gotta do it now, because otherwise you gotta start all over again.
Yeah, and it's been,
You know?
it's been.
And it is October, and I know you came on in the fall, so the time will be to do it now and finish it as soon as possible. In 6 months, you can do it.
We, gotta get our finances and our
Yeah.
planning together.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
Just starting at meetings, when you start,
But even if the board will give you a year, we go against the regulation.
no, but
So,
I
but
mean-
if you have the 6 months, then you come back and say, we need another month to finish it, then we can say, we can extend.
So this gets to one of these areas, someone's going to correct me here. So Jim can't extend it. We, as a board, have the authority to extend it for a year?
No.
Yes.
Yes, as I'm understanding this, we would. Jim can't.
I don't
as the
know
health
what's, Shelley, when you said they changed, it seems to me all permits, even when way back, was 3 years. And it says here,
I feel bad.
it says that let me just read it here. If the work is done and it shall expire, if the work authorized by it is not completed within 3-year period. The local approving authority department may issue a written 1-year extension to the disposal system construction permit. That tells me that if you've got 3 years and you can extend it for a year, it says only one extension may be granted. And that's what I thought. We had one on Foster Street about 3 years ago where we extended it for a year. And the
But-
basic thing, the system was in working, everything, the guy had to do some finish work, on landscape and stuff like that to get his full compliance.
Right. But the wording on this permit, when they got the extension last year, says permit renewed under,
Right,
expires on 10/14/15, no further extensions.
right.
Is that the Neshoba's thing? Can I see it? Can you pass it down?
Yeah, that's in your package.
Oh, is it?
It looks
It's
like
in the package, right there.
So that's the statement there.
You got it, Sue?
Yeah, yeah.
You got one there?
Yeah.
So what are the ramifications of not providing them?
Well, they'd have to have it redone. They'd have to redo it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in Title V, which it says that only one extension may be granted. Are we allowed to rule something against that? I think that's what you were asking.
That's your,
On
right.
this one permit,
Yeah.
this permit,
Yeah,
you're talking the old permit that they had before was granted an extension.
yeah.
This permit has not been granted an extension, from what I gather.
you understand what I'm saying? You
Oh, yeah,
already have
it says permit renewed under the Permit Extension Act. Permit expires on 10/14/15, no further
That's how,
extensions.
that's why they got a 1-year extension.
Yeah.
And that was it.
I don't know.
You can't get another one.
So what, was a 1-year extension granted last year?
Sounds like it.
Yeah, because
So-
I have 2 permits in here, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, so the 2013 was an extension,
right.
and it was granted as an extension. And then they got, it says no further extensions, but they were given another year.
Right.
I mean,
Now you
I
can't
agree,
get
I
it.
mean, I
Now
don't
you
have,
can't
any-
get it another year.
it's just, I don't want to do anything illegal either.
Yeah,
So
50
basically, if they don't, then because there's really been no changes, they would just have to resubmit the plan for another plan review to Neshoba and another permit be issued. So it's not like they'd have to have a whole new design done. It's just a new plan review fee.
With this paperwork then.
You gotta get
Permit.
What's that again? I'm sorry, Shelley.
So they'd have to just do a new plan review fee and a new permit fee for Jim to just review the plan and issue a new permit.
How long does that take?
Well, he has, from the time it's submitted, he has 45 days, but he generally doesn't take 45
Would that be a
days.
preferable way to go about it? Because there really have been no changes.
Well, the advantage to that is it would give you another 3 years. It would give you a permit dated, say he gets that done for the next meeting, November 22nd. Then you've got a permit that's good for 3 more years.
Well, that seems like a reasonable way to go.
So you just, the plan review fee is a couple $100, and then, the permit fee is,
That
And you're
seems like
safe.
a very good way to go.
Then you're safe. You're safe, we safe.
Yes.
do the 6 months. I
No, that's,
something's gotta happen.
no, that's the way we'll go.
It's better, my father used to say, don't say.
Yes.
Yeah, you get halfway through it if you're on a 6 months, and then you You say, no, I gotta finish it up, you have to get a whole new permit.
That's
Plus, I'm
why,
not entirely
still
sure we're
concerned
allowed
about
to do
the-
6 months even.
That
No.
doesn't sound like
Doesn't say
it.
it anywhere.
6 months means it's finished and you sign it off,
But I,
or you start
so
putting
based
it
on
in the
all this,
ground?
though, I
You'd have
I
to
don't,
have
it
a-
doesn't even sound like we can do a 6-month extension. I mean, I'd love to be able to do a 1-year extension, but between that,
and that,
this makes it sound like we
I really
can do it.
question
but-
that. I don't
I don't-
understand that
Yeah.
because we have done that before. It was 3 years, maybe it was under the,
What year Title V do you have in your book? Do you have something that's like,
I don't think Title V has changed.
The dates that you had on that, was it October?
October, yes.
You,
Yes.
you got the issue,
I'm just going by memory, which isn't always
Because
that great.
when they looked at that October date, I think it was Jim last year,
mhm.
he said that should have been
12.
a 3-year thing, not that date there, so that's why he moved it up to
yeah, I think that's what Peter's saying.
December 6th.
But just because it says here that no further extensions are allowed, so you got the 60, oh, I see your point.
But we got one that they had
Yeah.
changed last year.
Is that
I
what-
think that's an older,
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
not bring that.
That's what it says.
So you're saying, Jim's
October
saying the date on this permit is wrong?
2013.
If it ended October, in October of
issued on
last year, he
here.
said that should have read December.
October 6 to 2013
Well,
says right
It's
here.
prepared here, and then it was issued here.
Right.
Yeah, well,
So I
over
think
here,
that's the
yeah.
official date.
Are we looking
October.
at
Because
the
it
right
was
one?
prepared and then you withdrew the
It was
request,
asked-
so then you came back in
It was asked,
November
yeah, prepared and it was
2013. So
issued.
then the
Yeah.
permit was issued in
December.
December of
Yeah, so Peter, you're saying that
2013.
it was extended to the 3 years, and so there's still another
Said it should
year on it.
have, it should have been December.
Well, that's, I remember how we did it, but it may have been under this guy might have come under that,
Regulation.
that extension that Deval Patrick granted everybody. When we went into the recession, a lot of people had
Oh, I didn't know that.
permits.
Right.
And because there was no money, you couldn't get financing,
They accept,
all those issues,
give an extra
they
year.
extended
Right.
a whole range of stuff, not just the Title V stuff. So, but again, I remembered this one person, he hadn't finished, he'd already been 3 years, and we granted him a 4th year because it had really, his system was done, it was in working, he just couldn't get it signed off because of the landscaping and those type of issues that they normally like to see all done.
Well,
But that's by my memory, and it, you know, you read the thing here, it doesn't sound like my
Was it-
memory's all that good.
Was it originally issued as a 3-year or a 2-year permit?
Well, I thought all permits used to be 3, that's what I had in my mind.
Yeah, so if it was a 3-year, you could have given them the extra year under, per this
Over here
reg
was,
here.
2 years.
I'm not-
So maybe we should just clarify this all with Jim, the date that, when it was issued in 2013, whether they're good for 3 years or
And when we ask them that, then we can send these folks a letter
Yeah.
and not have them,
yeah.
you know, running around trying to get something new. You know, something's not
Yeah.
meshing here,
Yeah, yep, I would agree with that.
so.
Okay.
Okay, seems like the board will give you sort of like a leeway. Now, if that doesn't come out the way we want it, then you better do what you have to do. Then you have 3 years.
Well, I don't know that we're giving them leeway, we're asking for clarification
Well,
of what the dates
clarification.
are
We
first.
got a clarification of our own.
Clarification.
Yeah,
activities.
and then that way, if,
I'm telling you one thing, is I understand that I was brought to, they told me exactly, don't go overboard. I'm sorry to say that, that's what I was told, because what is the reason to have an agent if we're gonna be reprimanded? I don't wanna be reprimanded on the board. I know we're trying to do good, and especially
Yeah, well, I'm
I
not
always
disagreeing.
allow extra stuff for people, but the question is, I got reprimanded for the board, myself, I took the punishment, and I say, yes, I
I'm
make
not-
sure that nothing's gonna happen
No,
again.
I'm not disputing that, and I'm
Yeah,
not saying we should do something we
We need a
shouldn't. What I'm
clarification.
saying is,
That's
we're
right.
asking for clarification
That's
on
okay.
these dates.
Yeah.
If it's within the 3-year period, then we can grant a 1-year extension. If it's not,
Right.
based on this, it sounds like we can't, and then they'll have to go through re-permitting.
Thank you,
I think
John.
that's all we're saying.
No, no, I agree with you.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's looking to skirt.
We're not saying anybody's right right or wrong at this
Yeah,
point.
we
want
don't
to
even know what the
clarify.
data is at this point.
I
so-
know.
So we'll get
Because
that, and
who
it'll be
gets
fine.
punished is always the chairman. But
Well,
my
you
board,
deserve
I
it.
love my
Well,
board, and they try to
You
help me
wanted to
out.
be chairman,
You
that's what
get the
goes
big
with it.
comfy chair, and then, wait till you
That's
get-
right
I'll
about
talk to
that.
Jim Thursday morning, and
Yeah.
then I'll give you a call Thursday morning and let you know.
Well, nice to see you.
Yeah.
I hope you.
Shelley,
you
he would
what
have-
you want.
When did you come over? What-
You would
what year
have
did you
all,
come from
you know,
Italy,
what it
right?
would cost them to do
What year
this
did you
stuff.
come over?
Oh, long time ago.
Well, what-
I don't want to tell you, then you know how old I
I
am.
came in 1955.
Okay, forget about it.
Oh, earlier? Okay.
Yeah, we'll let you know.
Italian people are very nosy. Be my friend.
I like to kiss a lot, too, I don't say.
Thank you very much.
See, he's Italian. He likes to kiss too.
Why don't you go at it?
No, no, no. No, I'm not that much of a fan.
Piacere di
That's right.
conoscerti. Yeah,
Night.
bye-bye. Oh, boy. Okay, the meeting's closed, and now we have this gentleman here.
Evening, how you doing?
You open a meeting for?
I don't think, it's not, it's just,
You don't want to open a meeting, but this is only for? You got any report to give us? I understand our administrator, you brought here to give us,
Well, my report is, we're not bringing any leaves, and the leaf operation has been shut down, so
Okay.
that's the best I can do, is
yeah,
not do any more leaves, you know?
okay.
but,
I think that's fair on
Richie,
my
I
part.
thought you were gonna give us a written report, you
Written.
know, not a big report, but a written report on, you know, the activities. We know the leaves that you'd stopped before, but they were
Yeah.
hauling out, they were gonna haul out all the mulch.
Yeah.
That
Most
was
of it's been
red.
hauled out, there's a small amount left there. Gonna try to, get it out by the winter time, some of it gets mixed in with the soil. But I mean, it's pretty much died out, you know what I mean? You're welcome to take a look and see.
Well, you know, this is kind of like what the board wanted you to do, to scratch out a little thing saying,
Yeah,
as of October 15th, over half of the mulch from the leaves has been removed and stuff like that. Just give us like a progress report,
okay.
you know?
Before I forget, I got an email from one of your neighbors,
Okay.
okay, and stating that some odor will come from your area. So would you be kind enough to specify what kind of a smell that was bringing over to the neighbors?
It could be from cutting my lawn, it could be from a lot of things, but as far as an odor that's offensive, I don't find an odor that's offensive on my property, coming from my property.
Okay.
So,
Okay, because we do have an individual that's right present here, so
Yeah.
I will give her 1 minute. You have any question?
No, I was just looking for the written, like, are we 75% done with the composting operation?
Yeah,
I know we're not
would be
taking
good to
anything
have.
in,
Okay,
but I want to know how much is left, and are we still going to hit the December 1 date?
okay. Would you be kind enough to clarify?
yeah, we're gonna be, everything will be fine, so you don't have anything to worry
Now,
about.
when do you think you'd have everything out, Richie? December, 1st December?
Well, it depends on the weather and the market, Peter, the product has been moving fairly quickly,
Okay,
so.
so it's, soon as the landscape season gets over and stuff, it probably won't move at all. What?
There might be a small amount left, but I mean, there's hardly anything left there now.
Okay.
I mean,
Well, if you could jot something down, because it's stand as a record
okay,
for you, what was going on. I mean, the just meeting here will be a record, but from something that's from yourself that's just saying, this is where we stand right now, we expect to get it done by such and such a date, and I don't think anybody exactly hold it to you, but.
What's
see
the
what I'm
point
saying?
What's the point of having a plan?
You gotta
if
wait
we're not
until he's
gonna-
finished, please.
Because he just got through saying a lot of it depends on the demand for the product.
That's why the date was set the way it was with wiggle room. We had several discussions about the wiggle room, so we couldn't say that weather was the reason why we couldn't hit the date.
Well, I think he's hitting the final date, like he said, but with a little bit possibly left over. But the idea of what we had requested was that was kind of a status thing till he reaches that date, so that everybody knows where we are and what the progress is.
So I
And
think,
it'd be good.
yeah, I think it'd be nice, in addition to a written, to, I mean, you know, send in with a written, maybe you can email just 2 sentences to where you think it is,
Yeah, I can take.
to Shelley, and include pictures.
Yeah,
Right, a
pictures.
couple quick pictures with the cell phone and include that so we can see that and see the progress and gauge how well that's moving. I think that, it's as simple as that,
Yeah.
really.
You have any question?
Only that there was an agreement that it would be out by a certain date, is that?
Yes.
I'm new, so.
Yes, yes.
So I guess the question is, will it be out by that date?
Well, I'm trying my best to have it out by that date. I mean, that small amount of material that's left is far away from anybody else's property, you know what I mean?
So I
It's
guess
like-
that's where the pictures come in then.
Right, it's
in the center of my
understanding what the
property,
progress
so-
is, right.
And I don't see how, if the leaves that are there now have been there for a complete year and they've broken down, so I don't see where the odor issue is, you know?
It's satisfactory to your question? With a smile, I think you agree.
I
Question,
don't agree. I don't agree with how this has been handled at all. I don't understand why we can't get what we asked for.
Well, he's
We're
doing his best.
Yeah, but I don't want to keep coming to these meetings. I just want it done. Like, if it's in the center of his property, fine, but is it still within 250 feet of my well?
No.
I don't know.
No,
He says he's not,
Well,
So
I
that's-
just
so-
have to
so-
continue to trust him that it's
So
all
that's
been
why,
done.
yeah, so spot on, and that's why I suggest having some photos and things like that, some pics. If we need to make another site visit with someone from DEP, we'll do that and
did
confirm.
DEP go out there and say it was?
Yeah, I mean, they did even before this
Yeah.
going down, they had confirmed, right? I think 2 meetings ago, or maybe 2 months ago, that the berms were no longer within that 250.
No,
Well, the piles, the
Or the
berm-
piles,
the
I'm sorry, not the
berms on
berms,
the
the
edge.
piles, I'm sorry. So we're getting, but having photos, I mean, I'm on board with what you're saying. I'd like to see it.
I just want to feel comfortable. I don't want to come here anymore. I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Yep.
sometimes you send me email, I don't get it because I get so many emails, so I just let you know, okay? Sometimes, I delete as many as I can, but I get about 100, 100. Okay, so I want you to, not to feel bad, but I do different hats. I'm in 3 different boards, so people call me or email me for different reasons. So
I
I'm trying to be
appreciate
polite
that.
with everybody.
But I'd like you to take it seriously.
Well, I think we did take it
we gotta
seriously,
seriously.
It's, I
okay?
just want commitment. December 1, it's over. Like, it's been
Well-
over three
Well,
years.
now it's October, wait until December, then you can come back again, one more time.
no, I'm always gonna live there and keep working, so I mean, I have the right to screen dirt and work with my wooden stuff, so I
But you
mean,
don't have the right to have the compost on your property.
there won't be the compost calling, you know? It has to phase itself out, you can't do it overnight, you know?
So the composting itself is ceased. It's now at the point where
material.
the material is being hauled out. And that's the update that we're looking for. And I think,
And I got almost all the stuff out of
yeah,
there, too.
and
I mean-
I think what we don't need, well, we need an update in a month. I don't think we need to wait for a month for an update. So in other words,
I can do that
as
in the
soon
next
as,
couple days.
today, tomorrow,
Yes.
before the rain hits on Thursday, couple sentences and some photos and email that you
Yeah.
can send to Shelley and she can send to us. And then at the November 22nd meeting, another update with, again, photos and a couple sentences. And-
So what
and we'll
has
assess
to,
that.
you said that DEP was out, what has to happen to be compliant with DEP's regulations?
If there's any more problem, we have the DP there and we will go there.
Yeah, but
Whoever
when
is
they came
available.
out, like, what regulations of theirs or
It was
jurisdiction?
within the 200, is it 200,
250 feet of the well.
of the well.
And so
But
the
if-
requirement was to move out of that 250-foot
Right.
radius?
He already
So the
did.
state requirement, so
Yeah.
that's been done already?
Oh, yeah, that's been
Yeah,
done a
that
long
was-
So
time
the
ago.
second thing that's going on is a nuisance complaint, is that?
Yeah, this is essentially all stemmed from a nuisance complaint.
Okay,
and the-
I'm just trying to get an
Yeah.
understanding of what's happening.
And the resolution of that, because, we couldn't get outside of that resolution, or couldn't resolve that and still have the activity going on. So Boston Bark just agreed to shut down operations.
Yeah, the guy that he does business with that owns it, Vinnie, what's his last name?
Mueller, Vinnie Mueller.
He's the one that said, okay, that's not worth the hassle, we're gonna shut it down, we're gonna clean out
He did.
everything that's there, and that's the end of it.
And then the nuisance complaint is under our jurisdiction? Is that what
Yes.
happens? Okay.
Nuisance is under us.
So we're trying to make everybody happy.
And by the way, we did not request a shutdown. We requested or suggested a halting of the operations until we could figure out,
Okay.
is there a way to remediate the dust, the nuisance, and a way to enforce anything that could be done or apply any penalties or anything
Yeah.
like that? Because it was unclear, well, we certainly weren't doing that. It was unclear how we could do it. So I had suggested that we temporarily halt operations. No bringing anything more and taking anything else out until we can understand how we could, because it's also a subjective thing. I don't disagree that it's a nuisance. We get an email and saying, we have an issue. So we go out and we're like, yeah, I can smell something. I don't know if it bothers me, but then again, I don't live there. So it's, how do you measure that? And I just felt maybe we should take a time out for a while and figure this out. And then at that point, Vinnie and Richie said, well, why don't we just halt operations? So now the discussion over the last half a year has been, how do we get this
Yeah.
completely
So
halted?
the
And-
decrease in volume on this site, the nuisance is probably decreased along with that.
Yeah, but for 3 years, they operated in violation of DEP regulations.
Yeah.
So,
So
I mean, quite frankly, I just want to move. I just want to get out of Littleton. I'm done with it. I'm done. But I don't feel it's right to leave without saying that the composting operation, and because I'm sure anybody who looks up Littleton can see that this has been happening, and I don't want someone moving in to have to, like, who's going to want to buy my house if they've seen all these odor complaints and it's been a topic of the Board of Health for 3 years. I just want to be able to say on December 1, it's gone, and then I can in good conscience sell my house. I don't feel like if it continues to linger, I don't feel like it's right for me to sell my house to someone else who's going to walk into another mess.
So we'll get an update this week, more in writing with things, and then November 22nd, the second one. And then we'll make that assessment, we'll see where that is, we'll see a month of progress, good weather willing and moving things out, and we can assess.
Well,
where
we can, a
stand.
couple of us could meet with Richie,
You
and
can meet on site and see how much of it's gone. I mean, I have most of it out of there.
so we can verify. If you get the written things, we'll
Yeah.
You and I will
I
go.
can get
You and I will
some, I can
go.
get some pictures too.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good
Yeah.
night.
Good night. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
More questions or anything?
No, I just need to cool off for a second first.
we still got
Yeah, we do have.
the thing we gotta do on the animal inspector.
Yeah,
And then
here we
minutes,
have the animal inspector. Okay,
Can I just ask one question before we go?
go ahead.
Where's Brad?
Brent, well, he
He
had
had something tonight,
something
couldn't attend.
important to do, so he's missing, but he come
I
next
don't
week.
think I have your email address. Do I?
No,
Because I got an updated list, but I don't know if it's the final Board of Health list.
no, because Erin just joined the board last
It's
meeting.
my second meeting.
Okay, all right.
Is Aaron's email, is your email on the website?
I don't know.
Do they put
First-
everybody's email or just Gino's?
Just Gino's.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, just
Mine.
the board and Shelley's.
okay.
So. And if you guys get a status update, can you send it to the neighbors? Because if I didn't call you, I wouldn't even know that we were talking about it
We'll make
tonight.
sure you get some.
Yeah. I just
Good
want
night.
to feel
Thank you for
confident.
Okay, we have a statement of duty. You want to read it, Peter, or you want me to read it?
What's that?
Town of Littleton Animal Inspector.
Oh, I already read it. Do you want to reread it all again?
Oh, no,
Let me find it here.
So I've read this, so I wasn't here at the last meeting. What was the?
Well, I'll give you a rundown. Yeah, the animal inspector, Phyllis Tower, has worked for us for quite a bit. The animal inspector reports to the Board of Health. She reports for dog problems to the police department.
Right.
And over the years, she's treated as a contractor. And what was happening is when she gets paid, whether it's monthly or every 3 months, quarterly, or whatever, I'm not sure how she's paid. They didn't take the money out, so with whatever problems she was having, she'd have to hire somebody to do all the paperwork, to do the federal and state deductions. So it was costing her money to have that done, so she had requested through myself and some other people, and I talked with Bonnie, that she could get it set up so that when she gets paid, it gets automatically taken out of her paycheck, as it does for all of us.
Okay.
You know,
Yep.
not us as a board, us
Right,
as when we're working.
Yes.
So consequently, it would require us to take a vote and basically approve, I guess, straighten me out if I'm wrong here, but we're going to take the work description, job description, and we're going to vote on it and say, this is what she does, and we've sent it on to Bonnie to have,
Personnel board.
yep,
Yep.
to the personnel board, I'm sorry.
All right, so I read all of it. Okay, now,
Let me find it, see if there's, there was a couple things that I saw on it that I was just going to make note, me and
did you read
Shelley.
it? Did you read, Peter, did you read it back too?
Yeah, see, like the first one here, I was looking over it says the statement of duties, technical and inspection work relating to enforcement of state laws and town bylaws related to control and regulation of animals. Well, she actually does inspections, control, inspections, and regulation. I would think that they would put under there, just to be clean, but most of it looked pretty good. So other than that, I think we can make.
It does say inspection at the beginning of that sentence.
No.
Oh, that's true.
And
Yeah, yeah,
inspection
yeah.
work, which.
It kind of would be redundant, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so, you know, it
Yeah, you're
dangles a
right.
bit there, but it's there,
Yeah.
so.
So if no one's got any questions on it, I'll make a motion that we vote on this and send it on to the personnel board.
Let's
Any
see.
Oh, you haven't finished the reader yet?
Well, this, I want to know, I want to look at physical
So
requirements.
this is agricultural rather than pets, right?
I think it's both.
It's everything.
Yeah.
It's anything.
Or, I didn't see,
Most of it, Aaron, most of it is agriculture.
no dogs?
Yeah.
She goes, well,
Chicken.
It includes
the
dogs?
dogs would be under, if it's
Animal
dog
control.
pound, the other police department. She goes out and does stable inspections.
Yeah,
You know,
okay.
for horses. Anybody that has chickens, she comes to my house.
Hey.
and
Oh, does she?
Yeah, they comes to anybody that has chickens,
Okay.
because what they want to know, if there's some kind of a disease that's going through the chicken world.
Yeah.
I forget what the disease are, it's,
Then it catches on to everything.
yeah, they know where to look,
Right, right.
you know, that
So
type
how
of.
does she get the training to be able to identify those things?
Oh,
Well, she's been doing it in
Did it.
several towns for
Training.
years.
She's been doing it for a long time.
I don't know whether.
Oh, I'm not questioning her
Ability?
ability, I'm just questioning
Yeah,
this, that it doesn't have anything here about training.
Right, so it,
Just to
it's,
show the ability to do it, I
And
guess.
under qualification, oh, here it is, okay. It says general laws, I mean, that's not really
no, it's
looking at a
awfully.
chicken.
So who wrote this? Is this, did she write this based on?
I know, who wrote it, Shelley?
I would guess Human Resources downstairs. This was back in like 2011 when she first started.
Yeah.
I think it would be good to add something here that knowledge would have to, and I don't even know if it makes any difference, but knowledge would have to be up to date on
Only
say,
training?
chicken viruses, but
Training?
I don't know the word that you'd use, epidemics that are going through.
Well, do we, so
Current-
that brings up a very good point. Do we have the ability, and by that I mean money, to send her to annual training or
Well,
updates as necessary?
Well, I wonder if there's, through,
I don't
know,
think you want,
continuing
I don't think
this,
you want to make it too technical,
No.
because then you would force somebody maybe not to be able to do the job.
And it's
Yeah.
very
Well,
hard to find somebody.
No, I agree with that.
but with this job description, you can't, they're not, this doesn't include qualifications or knowledge that would
Maybe
allow
it
you to
wasn't not
do the
written
job
down.
correctly.
Maybe we can ask her to come so they can tell us why she doesn't have this here.
Again, all this is now, we're not hiring her, we're not
Presentation.
firing her, all we want to do is help her get her withholding.
Right, I
We got-
understand, but
If we got issues
insisting
later
on
on,
why we...
Okay, that's fine.
you know, we
I'm
can,
just saying, as a job description, it doesn't include some of the knowledge, I think, that they, because you'd want them to be up to date on the chicken virus that was going on.
Brad did mention at a couple meetings ago that the
Yeah, he
Department of
probably is.
Agriculture did start some sort of a training program for
Oh.
animal
And I wonder if it's-
inspectors.
Yes, I see that in the minutes.
um,
It
Yep.
might be free, too. I don't know.
So, you know, we can just,
So this is,
when
this,
that is, and
Or there might be email lists you can subscribe to,
So-
or things like that.
yeah, so we're getting out, I get that Aaron and I are getting outside the purpose of this particular thing, but this was, yeah, this sentence in the minutes is exactly what I'm getting at, is in some way that continuing education piece or training piece, for the purpose of what we're doing here, maybe is not that necessary, but it is something we need to
and
close the loop on, I think.
Yeah, I think if you're.
I can look into this, I'm not, you know, the board appoints her each year, and then that gets sent into the Department of Agriculture. Now, whether they have to approve her or they just accept her appointment, I'm not sure, but, you know, I can see if, through them, if there's any kind of
Well-
qualifications that she has to have to continue to do it.
And,
but-
and to ask if there's any support that's available through them that she could take advantage of.
Yeah. Because, yeah, Brad mentioned that there is a new training program, and, but she does several towns, so I'm sure
yeah.
that,
she does a bunch of towns.
I'm just thinking if it went out, it's, you know, you had to get somebody else.
Right, so it's, yeah, it's less
It's a
about
job
her than it
Yeah.
would be
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with her.
Right.
posting, so.
being
Okay.
more just a generic description instead of,
But as of now, is everybody okay if we make a motion to,
I entertain a motion.
I'm making one.
Any second?
Is this dated at all?
Yeah.
no,
Didn't?
I'm gonna make a motion
They probably forgot to put
just say as
date.
presented tonight.
that we, well, not necessarily approve, are we approving? No, we're, what are we actually doing here? I make a motion that we vote on the position of animal inspector as shown and pass it on to the personnel board. How's that?
That sounds good.
I'll
Any
second.
Second was made, all in favor?
Aye. What else have we got?
Think of the minutes, you wanna
Oh, you
read the
guys,
minutes?
you guys got 1 minute there that I wasn't here, so.
You read already?
Oh, you won't have a quorum.
That's right, because
Oh, that's right. What do you mean?
You can't vote on that.
we
That's
can't
true.
vote on this one, but you
So-
can vote on this,
Yeah.
on October 11th.
Oh, yeah.
So we can't vote on the one that I could vote.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
I'll fix that first sentence, and we'll do those next week, next time.
So we'll,
All my hard work.
I didn't have a chance to read the one, the 11 either. It's gonna probably take me 10, 15 minutes.
What are you talking, Gino, October 11th?
Yeah. Brett was here at 11, right?
Yeah, we had 4 people here, we were all
Two,
present.
three, and Brad, yep.
Okay, let me read it, let me see.
Well, actually, Aaron was here, too.
Yes.
Was.
Except John wasn't here. Well, you guys do it down at the boys' room.
John was not here.
Nope.
Brett was here. So they only have you, young lady, and Peter Yap. So I don't think, and I can't say nothing, right?
No, you were here.
I was?
It
Yeah,
says
you were.
Okay, Gino, okay, so let me read it, then we can approve it. Right, Shelley?
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for you to
Give me 2
do.
minutes. Okay, I'm sorry, did I yap too much?
Can I ask a question?
Uh-huh.
On this one, it says, this is the Frizzolis.
Yeah.
It says, owners come back in January. Is that a requirement?
Yes, it was
Motion,
conditioned
so-
on pumping annually, low-flow toilets, non-public restroom, and
Okay,
It should say "and that the owners come back."
okay.
Yes, because there's that discussion of sewering on the fall town meeting, and so based on how that goes, we'll determine whether.
Yeah,
they-
I just wanted to make sure that they were required to come back, same with fueling system. Okay.
I'll add in are
Yeah, I wasn't here for
required
the
to come
discussion, but
back.
it sounds like they would come back
Yeah,
if the sewering doesn't pass.
yeah, I'll add in that the owners are required to come back in January.
If there's edits, do we do edits on these?
If you want, if there's something you don't like.
We have to agree on the edit, though, like say, you didn't like a sentence, and I want this whole...
Can't just say no.
Yeah.
Wow, sounds like a contentious discussion on 21 Laurel Road.
Yes, it was.
Gosh, I missed a good one.
You did.
No, you didn't.
I didn't miss anything, huh?
No, you were happy for you. If you were here, be upset.
Okay.
Yeah,
My Irish should get up on me.
you're smart. Mr. James stated, sure, go on to inspect this. Okay,
You know, on that 21 Laurel Road, it says, Peter stated that when Jim goes out, he will go.
yeah,
Where he will go where?
yeah.
I want that
That
open-ended.
might not
We'll go out. You will go. You will go, but nobody called you, did he?
You will go with him.
be... I don't want to add to that.
You know, it's like you read them so many times that you just start to glaze over 'em.
This was a long meeting. It was...
Yeah.
Gee, what a long minute. Would you write a book?
You guys talked a lot that night.
I can't understand.
Which one are you on?
3 Lincoln Drive, at the last meeting, the board requested a joint.
At the last meeting, the board requested, in the last meeting, the board requested to address the drainage issues. Requested the,
So the last meeting, the board requested to address the drainage issues. And what's the neighboring property have encroachments of a shed and fence?
You're not encroaching on the,
Yeah, so this, actually, this should
If I
say
remember that,
continue
that's the
here.
Lincoln
yeah,
Drive. There was a dispute on whether that shed was on the property line, right? So one of the things you said, well, you guys gotta go back and get that figured out before we'll even,
Look at the city.
yeah, so I can't tell what's going on from that,
yeah.
The
those
last meeting,
sentences.
the board requested. To address the drain issues.
What was the problem? Laurel,
3 Lincoln Drive,
3 Lincoln.
it's like, it's about right here, first page, first paragraph in the middle, where it says at the last meeting, the board requested to address the drain issues, that whole sentence there. And I don't have the background to really know what it's supposed to say.
So
We got
maybe
Lincoln Drive.
requested the engineer to address the drain issues and the encroachments on the neighboring property, or in the encroachments of the shed and fence. Take out neighboring property. Of the shed and fence, period.
I'm all set. We have stuff to sign and everything?
Just one permit.
Can I ask us a question on Lincoln Drive? So on this one, they would have to have an agreement with the town to have that drainage placed. And then they'd have to have a maintenance plan in order for them to get final approval. Remember we talked about who's gonna take care of it? So the way this is written, it says,
The motion was made to Brett Mitchell to grant the variance for 2 feet, right? That's what you're talking about?
no. So it says approval is contingent on final plan showing drainage reviewed by the highway department. It just says reviewed. It doesn't say agreed that they were going to, agree that they would install, or, it doesn't specify in here final plans for a drainage system and maintenance. And I think that's the important part, because if the highway department just looks at it, that's not agreeing to put it in or
But the highway
maintain
Well,
it.
they're not gonna put it in.
No. Now,
Okay.
wait a minute, Highway Department and the plan approved by Jim Garafi, seconded by Peter Yap. That's what you're talking about?
Contingent on following, yeah.
All right.
See, the highway department will not approve it in. They have to approve of it tying into storm
Can we
drains.
say approved instead of reviewed? Showing drainage approved?
It says approval is contingent on a final plan showing drainage reviewed by the highway department.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, can we have the highway department approve it rather than just review it?
Well, you could change in the motion now. The motion was made
Oh, I see. Can't
and
change it.
Right,
recorded.
Okay, so I have to be, okay.
right. Motion was made by Brett Mitchell to grant the variance. Okay, we got that out of the way.
I just wanted to make sure that it had to be done right, instead of
Yeah, the
just,
Highway Department is very knowledgeable individual.
oh, no, I totally
Yeah.
know that. That's not what I mean, but that the system is actually,
They're gonna work together with the engineer and
well,
John Hancock.
everything so far we've been doing here to help people on it, everything's gonna be done right. Because otherwise they'll be here. Jim will be here. And Doucette will
To
be here.
answer some of your questions, Aaron, some places, the town's allowed people to tie into the storm drain,
Yeah.
sump pumps and stuff like that,
yeah. I think it's,
which is not really correct. It's up to to whatever the highway department agrees to, because some places they overloaded the drainage system.
yeah.
And the town's drainage system is engineered to handle what it's supposed to be, not everybody else's water and everything. So there is approvals and everything that go on.
Yeah, I just want to make,
Okay, I
because that
finished
was the
my
crux
part.
of approving that,
Right.
that they were going to put that in, because that's going to take a lot of the water off the site
Right.
and help out the abutter.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't go through and it isn't maintained, I think that was the biggest fear of the abutter, and that's problematic. And I know that area, it gets a lot of water.
Well, see, they'd have the right to come back after the engineer and stuff.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that it was set up so that they would have recourse.
Yeah.
Did you sign this?
No, I didn't.
Okay, read it first and then you sign it. I did read the
What else do we have?
minutes. I think we have,
Oh, this is the
Board
one we
member
approved.
reports, I don't think we did.
Wait, we have to make a motion on these minutes,
On the what?
the minutes.
the
Oh,
minutes.
that's right, Joe.
Okay, I reread it, the whole thing.
We're gonna,
Anybody?
we have
comment?
it amended. Did anybody amend anything?
Did-
Yeah, there's a couple amendments.
What was the amendment?
So on page 2 at the top, on the motion where it's in bold, second line where it says non-public restroom,
Okay,
and that the owners are required to come back in January.
Okay,
And then at the end of Laurel Road, he will go with Jim.
Here's another one for
Yep.
And then at the bottom of that page, second to last line, Erin confirmed. If that, Erin confirmed.
for the 6-1 Newtown Road?
That, upgrading, so take out asked why and said confirmed that. And then after 4-bedroom, add the word is, and end the sentence at new construction, new sentence beginning the abutter. So Erin confirmed that upgrading to a 4-bedroom is new construction. That doesn't make sense.
I just confirmed that that a 4-bedroom is upgrading new.
Oh, this one
It's new.
wasn't, this was an increase, yeah.
Yeah.
so-
Was new
Shouldn't
construction, you take the
Shouldn't
upgrading
say
out.
upgrading. Yes, okay, that makes sense. Okay, and then on the next page, 3 Lincoln Drive, next to 3 Lincoln Drive, I added, it should say continued hearing. And then in the middle, at the last meeting, the board requested the engineer to address the drain issues and encroachments of the shed and fence, period, a drainage basin. Da, 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 da.
And that's it?
Yep.
Okay, make a motion that we accept the minutes of October 11th as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Go ahead.
John's not voting on this?
Oh, he was there, that's right. I thought he fell asleep, I'm sorry.
Okay,
About 5 minutes.
Yeah, there you go.
aye. All right, we have anything else, minutes? Okay, and board member report now?
I have nothing.
Okay, correspondence, you have anything?
Can I say something?
You may.
Oh, I didn't know when I was allowed. So I went on the website looking for the regulations,
Okay,
and then it wasn't obvious where they were. I sent you guys an email.
Yeah, so, I don't know where you got that link that said January 2011, because the new regs are dated 2013, and that's what's on the Board of Health webpage. So I don't know where that link came from.
Well, on the Board of Health webpage, though, it doesn't say, it says environmental on the side, that's where I went. And they are 2013, it's just the file's named 2011. But my point was that when you go on the Board of Health webpage, it's not clear where the regs are, because it's off to the side and it says environmental protection something,
Well-
rather than Board of Health.
Yeah, well,
And
that's
then-
because, like, Title V is the state environmental code, so that's
Yeah,
why
but
they call
to
them
somebody
environmental
going into the
regulations.
webpage, it's not obvious.
Well, they're right on the front of the webpage, the regulations are right there. You can click on any of them right from the webpage.
That's not how I
Can you get on? I'm not,
could.
go ahead, get on.
The other thing is, there's a page for regulations, codes, and there's links for all the other boards, not ours. So it took me a while to find the regs, that was my point.
Say that again, Aaron, or there
I'll
was
show you. There's a, when you go on the website, sorry,
the town's website,
yeah.
and you go into different departments,
So I was looking for the regulations for us,
okay?
and so I went through a couple of things to find them, and it was not, I found a couple of things. So I sent an email to Shelley and Diane
Well, we
Corey.
have our regulations, and then we have the state regulations.
Yep, no, I got it.
Okay. And you're saying our regulations you couldn't get to, or the state
Yeah,
regulations?
I found them, but it's not obvious, so I
Okay.
sent an email and I made some suggestions.
Okay.
Part of what the confusion, I
Did you give a
think,
book?
is,
Huh?
Did you
is.
give a book?
Yes,
Well, that's what the regulations are.
Boards
I
and
know.
commissions.
I haven't gotten a book.
I'm
want a
doing
book?
new books.
She's doing new books, so I
You doing
said,
new
I
books?
just wait for a new book. That's what I've said.
Scroll down.
Probably get my new book about a
Oh,
month before
okay,
my
so
term's
this,
up.
see, this is part of
What are you talking
the
about?
confusion, is that there's a Board of
Well, my
Health
term,
department
2
and a
years.
Board of Health
Well, they're not,
Well, I don't know.
government page,
got
so
it.
if you go back up.
But can I just make, a
He's
because
going-
How
Joe
come you got a
Schmo
two-year
coming
term?
in
Did you
here, well,
fill
I
it?
can be Joe
I
Schmo.
got 2 more years.
Rather than just calling these environmental regulations and information.
I was wondering, I was trying to
call
think, did you
these
fill in for
Board of
someone,
Health.
did you?
No.
Some, we've
no, he
had,
just got elected.
Yep.
yeah.
Was there to help him out, right?
Mhm.
There. He looked under,
See,
he looked like
so
a
then, yeah, I
big
mean, I
shot.
can change that.
Old,
I think that's all, and then the other
tie,
thing,
shirt, leather jacket.
Was
was.
a real tie, wasn't
there's
he?
Right, it was
a-
real tight, yeah. And I was there
Just-
behind him, he's
Just
walking
what
around all
I,
over
there was
the
just
place.
suggestions I put in the email. The town code, so when you go onto the code page,
I'm running this year, next year.
Add a link to the Board of Health
In May?
page.
yeah, because the
You're up.
other, see how the other, there's links to all these other ones, and then ours just says,
Right, Peter?
What's that?
Division 3
First I
contains
got a point,
regulations,
and
but
then I
doesn't have a
read
link.
twice, and this would be
So you
the
can't
third
find it.
one.
So I think if you do that, it'll be fine.
It's all
I'm
Peter.
all for term limits.
John,
Yeah, I am too.
all these
One.
We're supposed to get a new webpage last year, so.
Could I make a
Didn't
suggestion
spend a lot of time on the
that
webpage.
we adjourned, and,
I make a motion to adjourn?
no, you
You
can't.
can't, you're the chair.
Why?
You're the chair.
Chairman.
No, I entertain a motion to adjourn. That's what I said.
I'll move to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Jeez, I can't even make an.
I actually thought you said I made.
Then you guys.